Hello, you six. Hope all of you are doing so well. And in today's video, we're going to have a look at some skills and concepts that we learned in the topic of fractions, decimals, and percentages. We're going to start off with things that we already covered today in class, which is how to find a fraction of an amount. So I'm not going to answer. This is actually your homework, and you already have the answer key on Google Classroom, but we're just going to discuss a few questions just to remind you of some of those concepts. So the first thing that we're going to answer right now over here, let's say question number 4. How can we do such a question? If I want to find 2/3 of 18, I'm going to have to divide 18 by the denominator, which is here 3. So 18 divided by 3 is going to give us 6. And then we're going to multiply the 6 by the numerator, which is 2. So 18 divided by 3 is 6, times 2 is going to become 12. And this is how we can find a fraction of an amount. All right, let's now move to the next section, which is about how to find the original number. If I have a fraction, like for example here, when they say 3/4 of a number is 15. What is that number? Okay, so now it's the opposite. We do not have the amount. We want to find the amount, like 3/4 of what is 15. Okay, in order to find this, we are going to do the opposite exactly. Up there, we used to divide the number by the denominator. No, here we're going to divide the answer that we have by the numerator. So it is 15 divided by 3, which is 5. And then we multiply by the denominator, which is 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. All right? So this is how we can find the original amount. Okay. You got down there here a question, and I asked you actually to change this. I wrote it in Google Classroom that here I don't want you to find the fraction. I wanted to find how much does Hannah have left. So the question is actually how much does Hannah have left? If you need help with this question, I recommend that you try to do it on your own first, and then you can come back to watch how you can do it. They're saying that Hannah has $50. She spent half of this money. All right, so she spent half of this money on books. What is half of 50? Mister, we don't need to follow any steps. Half of 50 is 50 divided by 2. It's the half of 50, which is 25. So she spent 25 on books. $25 on books. Okay. And they said also that she spent also 2/5 of the money on presents. So what is 2/5 of T? Now, in order to do that, we need to divide 50 by 5, which is 10. That's 2/5 of 50. 50 divided by 5 is 10, times 2 is 20. So she spent $20 on presents. How much does she have left? So 50, she spent from a 25 and spent from a 20. So she spent 45 in all. She spent 45 in all from the $50. So she has only $5 left. All right. Now we're going to move to the next page. And the next page here is showing us converting fractions into decimals and percentages, or conversion between fractions, decimals, and percentages. We learned that if I have a fraction like this, we just read it normally, it's 7/10. 7/10 is just a 7 in the tenths place. What is 7 in the tenths place? It is 0.7. But if you want it as a percentage, it's going to be 70 out of 100 because the percent is out of 100. So it's going to become 70%. 70%. I recommend you do that. You watch this for explanation, then you answer the rest of the questions on your own. All right, Mister, what if I have, there are some fractions, of course, that are there in your copybooks, like the half. We know that, what is it? It is exactly as a decimal. It's 0.5, which is also 50%. So in your copybook, you're going to find all this information. You need to study them very well. You know that the quarter is 25%. You know that the tenth is going to be 10%, and as a decimal is 0.1, and so on. There is only one thing that I might need just to talk with you here about, and it is how to find 1/20. 1/20 Well, how can you convert this into a decimal, mister? That is very hard. It's not going to be hard if you have the denominator 100. So make the denominator 100. How, mister, can I make the denominator 100? Multiply it by 5. If you multiply the 20 by 5, it's going to be 100. So 20 times 5, it is going to be 100. And then you multiply also the 1 by 5. The same thing that we did to the 20, we need to do it to the 1. So multiply the 20 by 5 to make it 100. Multiply the 1 by 5. It becomes a 5 over 100. Oh, now we understood this is a piece of cake. 5 over 100 is actually 5 hundredths, which is 0.05. 5 in the hundredths place. 5 in the hundredths place or 5%. So it is 5 in the hundredths place or 5%. That's it. Okay. We're going to move now to the next page. You got the answer key on Google Classroom. The answer of all these questions are there on Google Classroom. All right, this page over here, I'm just going to remind you how to get a percentage of a number. And to get a percentage of a number, let's take, for example, here, question number 1. All right, that's fine. Question number 1. 30% of 180. Oh, mister, I remember this, or I need to remember this. 10% of the number, that's the first step that we're going to always do. In tomorrow's test, you might not find the steps shown to you clearly like this. You're not going to find the steps given to you like this. 10% of 180, you must find first 10% of that number. Look like this here. We'll find first 10% of the number, 10% of the number, 10% of the number. All right, so that's the first step. 10% of the number means you divide by 10. So bye-bye to the 0. It is just 18. All right, that's 10% of the number. So what is 30%? Oh, we're going to multiply the 18 by 3. And the answer is going to be, if you multiply 18 by 3, it's going to be 54. Okay. The rest of the answers are there on Google Classroom in the answer key. All right, a question like this one over here. How can we do it, Mr. 45% of 80? How can we do it? You get 10% of 80, and we know that it's going to be 8. We divide 80 by 10. It's going to be 8. Okay, so what is 40%? Oh, it's the same like 8, but 4 times more. 10% is 8, but 40% is 8 times 4 is going to give you exactly 32. Mister, now we found 40, but I need to find 45. Okay, no problem. I know that 10% is 8. What is 5%? The half of the 8, which is 4. Now you add them up to give you 45%, which is going to be 36. Okay, guys, I know some of you might say, Mister, I know an easier way. Please. No, I want you to learn this way. Why, Mister, there's an easy way. I'm going to teach you the easy way later this year. But you have to learn these steps for another lesson that is going to need these steps. So please learn these steps. All right. The next lesson here, which is converting between mixed numbers and improper fractions. We're going to go start with this one over here. How can we convert a mixed number into an improper fraction? Very, very easy. The denominator stays the same, Mister. Here it is going to be 3 stays the same, but the numerator from mixed number to improper fraction, we're going to multiply the 3 by the 3, which is 9, add 2. So 9 plus 2 is going to become 11. So it is 11 over 3. Okay? 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, 11 over 3. That is how we convert mixed numbers into improper fractions. What about, Mr. improper fractions into mixed numbers? Okay, let's just check one like this over here, for example, 10 over 3 or 10 thirds. The denominator, Mr., stays the same. And now ask yourself, how many 3's are in 10? And if you know your times table very well, or if you just check it, you're going to find that there are 3 3s in 10. 3, 6, 9. That's it. If I move forward 12, 12 is too much. So how many 3s are in 10? There are 3 3s in 10, which makes 9, mister. It doesn't make 10. Yes, and I have 1 left over. So there are 3 3s in 10, which makes a 9, and I need 1 more to reach the 10. 1 is going to be left over. That's it. Thank you so much, you 6, and see you tomorrow.